Dallas Cowboys are taking on the Chicago Bears this weekend, but we here at the Cowboys Report are taking on our Bears Now channels here at Chat Sports in a sub-battle this week. And we are ahead of them right now, but just barely. Let's beat them on and off the field. Hit that sub button, and let's stay above Bears Now in subscribers this week. All right, coming up on today's show, we're breaking down the Thursday injury report. Also, Cowboys working somebody else out at that emergency center spot. We'll talk about that. And also, a possible blockbuster trade for the Cowboys that probably won't happen, but it's being suggested out there, so we're going to talk about it here on today's show. Let's get into the injury report here for Thursday. DaRon Bland still not practicing for the Cowboys, but everything else is pretty much good news here. Trevon Diggs was full. He was dealing with an illness during yesterday's practice. Tyler Guyton has been kind of banged up dealing with a shoulder injury, but he was a full go today. And KeVontae Turpin dealing with a neck injury. He was also a full go today as well. This was an update from KeVontae Turpin about his injury status. He said, "It felt good today. I ain't worried about it. I told them if there ain't nothing wrong with my neck, I'm all good. If it's just this, I can continue to play through that." So that's a very good update there on KeVontae Turpin because you definitely want him out there this weekend. The Bears, on the other hand, their injury report is full of did not practices today on Thursday. Kiran Amegadjie did not practice today. He was limited on Wednesday with an elbow injury, so went back in terms of progress for him. TJ Edwards did not practice today with a hamstring. Kyler Gordon did not practice with a hamstring. DeMarco Jackson did not practice with a hamstring. He was also limited on Wednesday, so he also is going backwards on that front. Jaylon Jones did not practice today with a hamstring. A lot of hamstring injuries on this Bears team right now. Grady Jarrett, this one I think is very notable. He was limited today. He did not practice on Wednesday with a knee injury, so he, is kind of making a little bit more progress for this weekend's game. Another one of note, DeAndre Swift, the Bears starting running back, he was limited today. He was also limited on Wednesday with a quad injury. And then Jahdae Walker, he was a full go today. He's been limited with an ankle on Wednesday. So what is your confidence level that the Cowboys will beat the Bears this weekend? Let me know down at the pinned comment of today's video. Scale it for me 1 to 10, 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Me personally, I'm around 7 right now. I think the Cowboys have a better team than the Bears, but let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment of today's video. Now, the Cowboys today at practice were working Tyler Booker out at that center spot. And it's notable, I think, just because with the injuries that you have right there with Cooper Beebe going to IR, Brock Hoffman's going to end up being your starting center. And then I would assume TJ Bass is the next guy up there. But then, it's a good thing, I think, that they're just working some other guys, especially Tyler Booker, somebody that is very smart and I think very capable of playing that center spot. He never actually played center during his time at Alabama during a game, but, during the preseason and the offseason, they did work on it. So it's not like this is a first-time thing for Tyler Booker. The Cowboys also did it early on when he first arrived here. I think position flexibility is just always a good thing just in case of emergency, and that's all that is right now, just in case of emergency. I don't think you're going to see Tyler Booker go out there and play center, for the Cowboys on Sunday. I think it's going to be Brock Hoffman, but it is a good thing that they're just working some different situations out because that's the last thing you want is for your, second string center and then your third string center to go down and then not have anybody there. But I will say, too, if you move Tyler Booker over to center for some kind of emergency situation, it's going to cause a whole lot more chaos along the offensive line. So fingers crossed you don't have to do that. But I think it is a good thing that they're at least preparing for that possibility. All right, we'll continue with some trade rumors here in just a second. But today's show is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. I use PrizePicks for so many different types of sporting events, whether it's professional football, college sports, MMA, baseball, basketball, you name it. PrizePicks has a ton of different options for you. And PrizePicks is a ton of fun. And if you guys know ball, you can win real money all season long on PrizePicks. This is the power play that we got cooked up for you guys this weekend, going with just a more than half a touchdown there. Passing touchdown, to be specific there, for Caleb Williams. CeeDee Lamb, more than 81.5 receiving yards, and then the max discount there on Patrick Mahomes. Only needs a half passing yards for that one to hit as well. So make sure, if you see the max discounts in your PrizePicks options, make sure you get those into your lineups. PrizePicks is super simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money today. PrizePicks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off, which ones aren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. So download the app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link is down in the description of today's show. It's also going to be down at the pinned comment of today's show as well. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Now, let's get into some trade rumors here. Marcus Mosher, I believe he is with Locked On Cowboys. Yes, he's with Locked On Cowboys. Suggested that the Cowboys should consider trading for Bengals edge rusher Trey Hendrickson. Let me be clear, I do not at all think this will happen, not even just this season, just at all for the Cowboys. The Cowboys do technically have the salary cap space to make this happen if they wanted to, but the Bengals already gave him a raise. And, it was originally reported that, the Bengals would let Trey Hendrickson go in free agency at the end of the season. Just the way his contract is structured, though, there is not a no trade clause in his, or no tag clause, a no tag clause in his contract. So, it seems like there is still an option out there that the Bengals might tag him, after the season ends. Maybe tag and trade is also a option there for the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson. But, the trade idea suggested was Trey Hendrickson for a second-round pick, and I just don't think that's enough. The Bengals wanted more than that originally when Trey Hendrickson went out there and had made a trade request with the Bengals, and so I just don't think a second-round pick by itself is going to be enough if you want to go out there and get Trey Hendrickson. You also just signed Jahdae and Clowney as well, so that's just another edge rusher in the fold. Sure, maybe you can let somebody else go, but the Cowboys have been going after that edge rusher spot in the draft for the past couple of years, so I don't necessarily think this one makes a ton of sense here. But the rationale that Marcus Mosher did use, well, it did make a little bit of sense on that front. He said, if you're the Cowboys, could you make the argument that he's not Micah Parsons, but he's $15 million cheaper? He's had more sacks over the last couple of years, and we don't have to pay him as much and keep those first-round picks. That part is definitely true, but just in general, I don't see this happening at all for the Cowboys here. I want to hear from you guys, though. What is the percent chance that the Cowboys trade for Trey Hendrickson? Let me know what you guys think. 1 to 100, what's your percent chance that the Cowboys end up trading for Trey Hendrickson? All right, so I would probably put it at about 5%. I'm not saying it's not going to happen 100%, but it's not very likely. The Bengals did shop him during the offseason, and they were wanting multiple first-round picks and a player that can contribute now. Nobody even got close to that asking price. Now, depending on how the Bengals season ends up going without Joe Burrow, maybe they're willing to take a little bit less before the trade deadline, but I just don't see it happening right here, right now anyways. What would be interesting, though, is, maybe you get some of these cornerbacks healthy here in the next couple of weeks, with Savone Revel and DaRon Bland. You could knock out two birds with one stone, and, it's kind of been thrown out there that Trevon Diggs might not be back with the Cowboys next year. Maybe you could end up trading Trevon Diggs to the Bengals for Trey Hendrickson, and you might still have to give up, maybe a second or third round pick for that, because the Bengals do need cornerback help right now, and he's better than anybody that they have. The Bengals did also draft Shamar Stewart in the first round of last year's NFL draft, but like I said, you might still have to give up a second or third round pick, because I just don't see a world where the Bengals just let Trey Hendrickson go for a second rounder. You would need to throw in at least another capable player as well.